Handley Page Transport, a British airline, made aviation and culinary history by serving the first in-flight meal in 1919. On a journey from London to Paris, it was only a cold sandwich and fruit served out by cabin guys. However, during the next 100 years, airplane meals evolved. After World War II, multi-course suppers were provided with tablecloths and genuine silverware, a far cry from today's pre-cooked and reheated trays or little bags of pretzels. But during the same period, airline food has gotten a reputation, and not a good one. As Paul Theroux once said, "You define a good flight by negatives: you didn't get hijacked, you didn't crash, you didn't throw up, you weren't late, you weren't nauseated by the food. So you are grateful." Gordon Ramsay would never eat airplane food. Neither would fellow Michelin-starred chef Daniel Boulud, unless he was flying in business class. On an American flight, if it's local, I try to avoid any sort of food, Boulud, who has designed meals for Air France's business and La Premiere classes for 2 years, said in an interview. Sometimes there's weird food combinations. Both Ramsay and Boulud are correct. Meals aboard aircraft aren't exactly gourmet, especially for those flying economy class on foreign or long-distance flights. While one doesn't expect 5-star quality food, 36,000 feet up in the air, a half-decent meal is not an unrealistic expectation. Or, is it? So, what's the deal with the constant disappointment when it comes to airline food? According to Charles Spence, an experimental psychology professor at the University of Oxford, airlines freeze pre-made meals on the ground before taking off and thaw them out in the air. Although planes typically fly at altitudes of around 40,000 feet, air pressure in cabins ranges between 6,000 and 8,000 feet above sea level, making it difficult to make fresh meals on board. Meals are prepared ahead of time so that they can be shelf-stable for a period of hours, Spence explained. Then it's reheated in less than ideal conditions, which contributes to the fact that it doesn't taste fantastic. Airlines realized that after serving 250-plus passengers, the food would either get cold or dry, said Dasayan, whose research focuses on the history of aviation. What is the solution? Drench everything you're presenting in fluid. Is the explanation that simple? Or there is an element of science at play as well? Simply put, food on flights tastes different because of the cabin environment. Not convinced? Here is the scientific explanation. It turns out that the cabin conditions required for today's high-altitude flights have an effect on our taste buds, rendering even highly sweetened or salted dishes boring. Scent has a strong influence on our sense of taste, and as many regular travelers are aware, air travel can wreak havoc on the mucous membranes within our noses. Cabin pressure, which is typically maintained at 6,000 to 8,000 feet above sea level, reduces oxygen levels in the blood, dulling the body's olfactory senses. The absence of humidity in the air also dries up nasal passages, rendering taste buds numb and decreasing your feeling of saltiness or sweetness by 30%. To make matters worse, studies suggest that the persistent hum of jet engines diminishes our capacity to perceive sweet and salty foods, even while it may improve umami flavors such as soy sauce and tomato juice, as well as seasonings such as curry and lemongrass. Given that previous flights did not reach such high altitudes, the food on board most likely tasted better, but the trade-off is speed. When Handley Page's 1919 aircraft took off, it most likely reached 100 miles per hour, a sixth of today's typical flight speed. If you are interested in aviation, here are some fascinating facts. Over 225,000 meals are prepared each day for Emirates Airlines. It is the world's largest flight catering kitchen. American Airlines saved around $40,000 by removing one olive from its salads in the 1980s. Economy flights first became available in 1952. Here is a question for all airline buffs. Which airline was the first to serve hot meals on board, beginning in 1928? Leave your answers in the comments section below. The winner gets bragging rights.